Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Prepper Talk Radio with Scott, Shane, and Paris. And you'll notice it's just Paris and Scott right now because Shane is on his way to his studio, running amok amidst traffic and other challenges along the way. But he'll be joining us shortly. What an epic last few weeks, Paris. How are you feeling?
Like my head is spinning, dude. Like all the markets are down. Like stuff that's not supposed to happen is happening, and stuff that we're supposed to have safeguards against all the safeguards are like quote unquote not working because of some kind of quote unquote glitch. And like some of the asset classes are supposed to teeter totter, meaning when one's down, the other one's up. Like that's the tradition. They're all down. Like somebody broke the fulcrum. The fulcrum like broke the whole. Like I don't know, dude. Like we've seen this before. It's happened before. Crazy things. But
Crazy
anyways, yeah, everything's going good at home. You know, other than that, you know, doing well. So,
dude, it is. Oh my gosh! Like, what the crap? I know silver's at $69 as of my last look at my screen over here, but yeah. Markets are down. Things are tanking. Things are flatlining. Like I'm watching a lot of different things going on, and it's quite interesting. The United States has parked a whole bunch of ships over in the Middle East, or at least are working in the process of parking a whole bunch of ships in the Middle East, over by our not so friendly neighbors, Iran, and yeah. With that, let me remind you guys. If you don't have survival meats, you need to get some. That's one of we're going to talk about pantry preps tonight. We're going to talk about some things you need to do, but go over to survivalfrog.com, use the code PrepperTalk, save 10%, get some survival meat. That's my biggest concern is usually something really delicious and tasty, something savory. When I'm struggling, when I'm having a hard time, I want some comfort food, and a lot of time that's good roast beef, good chicken. Ground beef. Those are amazing things that can go in with anything. Check it out. Survivalfrog.com. Get those. But also, we have a new affiliate we're working with. We're super excited about. I'm super excited about. We've pitched one for a long time. They actually launched a sister company that gives us all a better deal, and it's the same freaking pharmacy. Your emergency medical stuff. All of it at Ozio, OZIO.com, Ozio Medical. And instead of 10 measly dollars off, guess what, guys? We get 10 freaking %. So make sure you use the code PrepperTalk and you'll get 10% off. This is your emergency antibiotics. Now, get your stinking medical guidebooks on top of all this because those are a short-term solution. It's not a long-term thing. You can get your prescriptions and other stuff there fulfilled as well. It goes through a clinic. I should have brought mine down. I went through the process through their clinic. I got all my stuff. And what's cool is it's bigger than and better than the Jace case because it's 10 antibiotics. We got like 5 or 6 the first time. Like it's just gotten bigger and better. So Ozio.com, OZIO.com. Use the code PrepperTalk and save 10% going forward. It's awesome. Now, without further ado, I'm hungry. What are we going to do when the lights go out? What are we going to eat? Let's talk pantry prepping because it's getting harder and harder to find good food today.
It's critical to have a reserve of foods. Like we talk about the market, we talk about gold and silver, which quite frankly, I love. But you can't eat gold and silver. So, and you can't eat, gear, but you can eat food and you need to eat food. So that's the key here. So we need to find ways to eat good food that's going to keep us healthy and strong. And not talking like, I know Twinkies last 30 or 40 years, but that's not the kind of food we're talking about.
No, definitely not. Like what we're talking about tonight, we want to start because let me back up. So there's 2 basic pantries in preparedness, right? There's your rotating pantry. You're up front. You're right off the kitchen. Maybe it's in your cabinets pantry. And then there's your long-term pantry, right? And ideally, you're buying longer-term food storage for the long-term pantry, and all the stuff you're eating every week, every month, right? That goes in your right there pantry, right by the kitchen. If you only have a single pantry, then obviously those things combine into one. So what we want to talk about is tonight extending that initial pantry, right? We can go deep into food storage, we can go deep into freeze dried, we can go deep into dehydrated, but we want to talk about the things that you need to be prepping for now are the things that you normally eat. And part of the conversation I'm going to push later down on the line is the less ingredients, the better. And we'll come back to that. But your 90-day pantry, if your pantry doesn't go 90 days right now, you need to stop the stupid spending on other things, wasting money on, I don't know, Netflix and chill, and put that money into a few extra cans of food you're going to eat, right? Putting that money, you got a vacation coming, it's tax season. If you've got a refund, right? Use that money to maximize that 90-day pantry, expand that sucker, fill it to the brim, because it is going to get harder and harder and more expensive to get stuff as this year continues on. I can't hear you, Paris. I think we lost your audio.
I think you're supposed to fill it to the rim with brim, not fill it to the brim.
I don't know rim to brim. What?
No, remember that old commercial? It was a coffee commercial. It was Brim coffee, and you're supposed to fill it to your cup, to fill it to the rim with brim. You said it just about 30 seconds ago. You said fill it to the brim.
Right? Yeah, like, the brim of the cup, like the top, tippy top. But I didn't know there was a coffee called Brim.
Yeah, there was a coffee called Brim, and it said, and it's in their commercial was fill it to the rim of the cup with brim. That was their rhyme. And so, anyways, when you said that, fill it to the brim, I was like, dude, he's talking about the coffee, or is he talking about the guy? Anyways, I got a little bit of a nostalgia, you know.
If you're a coffee drinker, make sure you stockpile on that too. I know, like, I don't know really hardly anything about coffee, but I guess beans last a long time. Freeze-dried crystals, all those good things, right? But yeah, definitely now is the time to pack it to the ceiling. Is that a better statement?
No, you were fine. It was just funny. Here's something cool though that I think I just thought about right now as you were saying that. Like, I think that I'm not sure if you know this, but RFK is working diligently. That's Robert F. Kennedy, I believe. He's the Secretary of the Health, or whatever. And he's working diligently to get rid of all of like the dye number 7 and the yellow number whatever and the blue number with that and the red number this. And so if you have food storage with any of those dyes in there, I would start rotating those ones out quick, or just go throw them away because they're probably not good for you, and then replace those too with anything. If you already have a food storage. And frankly, I don't think that a lot of the companies they're just now banning all these things, or just telling the companies, hey, look, you can't be making your stuff with these horrible ingredients. So we may not see the actual ingredients on the shelves of the grocery store, today, but soon we should. And so I was thinking that maybe at least for me, as the new ingredients come out with the better, as hopefully better products, better ingredients, as they come out with better ingredients in these cans or the freeze drieds or the pantry that you rotate your food with. I mean, for sure, like the mustards and the ketchups and the mayos, probably you could replace those with better quality ingredients. Hopefully, if what they're telling us is really true, let's put it that way, then it would be better ingredients, and that I would replace those right away too.
Well, in one of our coffee aficionados, Field Track, whole bean coffee is the way to go for drinking and storage. Unroasted is best, as you can roast it as needed. Also, the unroasted has less chemical and additives than what you're going to find with the roasted prepackaged crap that you buy at the store. Here's the sad truth is our food storage, or our food industry, is just as bad as Big Pharma. Big Pharma and Big Food are both just disgusting what they're doing. If you guys remember what happened a few weeks ago with Campbell's Hot Mike, do you remember that one, Paris? that it's not even real meat. It's 3D printed meat in their soups.
Yeah. I've seen several videos. I don't remember the one you're specifically talking about, but I've seen several videos of, like, I saw a video of a guy like picking through his steak, showing how it's like there's no striations, there's no like the regular meat.
I sent you one of those too.
Is that the one you sent us?
I sent you that one. That was actually not Campbell's. That was our good friends Texas Roadhouse serving not real meat.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Allegedly. Yeah. So Campbell's allegedly, they're serving 3D printed meats in their soups, and the soups are, quote, for only poor people. So apparently my entire life I've been classified as only poor people. But I will not be buying anything. Their stocks plummeted even before the current plummet. But yeah, there are so many things that just have garbage in them, right? Learning to make your own foods, having shelf stable foods, and things that will last as long as possible on hand is the best way to go. Obviously, your 90-day pantry are stuff that you're going to eat within 90 days, right? It rotates every 90 days. When you start expanding beyond that, that's when we're going to get into like your wheat stockpile, right? Because you can rotate flour pretty quickly before it goes bad. But fresh ground wheat into flour is the healthiest, best, and cleanest option you've got. So we'll talk about that as well. But I wanted to start off the list with some things that I think are just genius. I was going through a lot of my different stuff. Number one, first and foremost, you need to know what your actual caloric use is. How many people are in your house and how many calories they're actually consuming. Have you done the work on that, Paris? Do you know what your household caloric intake or caloric burn is?
No, I don't. I know what mine roughly is, but I do not know what the rest of the family is.
So there's this really cool tool. If you go over to preppertalkradio.com and go to the resources tab, I created a food storage calculator that I use for my inventory tracking purposes, and I've shared it with the world. If you go there and you access it, just save a copy. Don't ask me to share it because the original will never be shared. The instructions just say save a copy. The reason I bring that up is because that will help you understand how much of everything you should be stockpiling and how long what you have is going to last you. That's how you build up to a 90-day supply. But knowing, like, I go through about 3,000 calories a day. That's at a moderate day. That's a regular day. And I'm a big guy, I'm 300 pounds, right? But if I look at my wife, she's 2,000 calories a day, roughly. My kids, both about 1,400 calories a day right now, but they're growing. It's going to be more food later, right? But this calculator goes into how many calories they need per day. Then you can plug in actually what you have. If you got cans of corn, pull the information off the label. If you've got bags of beans and rice, pull the information off the label. You can throw it all in there and you can use that information. It will calculate for you how long that food should last you. Is it a month? Is it 3 months? Is it 10 years? It will tell you what you need and how long what you have will actually last you. I built this tool about 8.5 years ago and I've been using it ever since. But you've got to know, you've got to plan, right, to get through whatever's coming, whether it's just normal life, which most of the time it has been for me, or whether it's major shortage or crisis that's on the horizon. But having a plan and knowing what you have, keeping it updated, right? Pretending that your pantry is not just a pantry, but it's like an actual storehouse. Having an inventory, knowing what's in there. I know, Paris, you're big on tracking everything, and you've got a checklist of what's in your pantries.
I'm better at it with my money and my finances, honestly. My pantry is probably not as good as you. I just know that a box of Cheerios lasts my family about 2 weeks. So I go 2 weeks times 9, blah, 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 whatever. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need to have 5 or 6 boxes of Cheerios in my pantry at any given moment. And one of the things that I found, though, is that, and this is important to realize, is, 3 years ago, my family loved Honey Bunches of Oats. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go buy 6 boxes of Honey Bunches of Oats. Well, they stopped eating Honey Bunches of Oats, so the rotation stopped. And then like a year later, they're like, hey, I want to go have 100 bunches of oats because I got a hankering for it or whatever. And they look at it and it's like, oh, expired, a year ago. So like, I was like, oh yeah, well, we better probably not add more Honey Bunches of Oats to our pantry because we're not eating it anymore. We're not consuming it as much. So just be aware of that too. Like your tastes will change, your taste buds will change. So we have for a long time, my family ate those packages of oatmeal. And here's kind of my philosophy on food storage. You do want to have as healthy a food storage as possible. And don't get me wrong, like you definitely want to make sure that you've got good, good carbs, good fats, good proteins. You want to have the mix that's there for you. However, at the end of the day, you got to remember that again, I kind of joked about Twinkies and that's kind of a far end of it, but just make sure you have food. Just have food that's edible, that's good, that can get your body, your body's going to acclimate, your body's going to accommodate, and your body's going to make changes if it needs to with whatever you give it. And I'm not talking about give it total junk food, but the packet, if you get raw oats or you get the packages of Quaker oats that are pre-packaged, every little thing, and you put the water in the bag and then you pour the bag into the bowl and it kind of makes it for you, and it's maple and it's whatever flavor. Like that may not be as healthy as just raw oats with like with seasonings, but it's still better than not having food. So that's what I'm saying is that, like, Scott, I know you have a ton of those macaroni and cheese bowls for your kids. At least you used to. And they may not be as healthy as other things, but it's food and they'll eat it. So that's like to me, the bottom line is when you're building your pantry, be cognizant of what you're currently eating and building your pantry around what you're currently eating. And if your taste buds change and you go from, Honey Bunches of Oats to now Honey Nut Cheerios to now regular Cheerios, you're going to probably want to have, tell people, look, let's finish off what we used to buy and eat. And then as we move into the new cereal or the new whatever. And like the other thing too that happened to me is I was like, oh, I got plenty of spaghetti noodles, and so I whenever that we had spaghetti, we just go down to the pantry and grab spaghetti noodles and do it like whatever. And then I went down the other week and I was like, oh my gosh, we only have like 2 boxes of spaghetti noodles. We used to have like 12, like 15, and I was like, I better so I started buying 3 or 4 boxes of spaghetti noodles every time I went to the grocery to get it back up. So sometimes you just got to remember, that you have an inventory and you're backlogging it. You should be backlogging and it should be, and not just with food, but goodness sakes, I mean, there's like personal items, shampoos, conditioners, toothbrushes, toothpastes. There's all those things to store as well in your pantry, in my opinion. But definitely want to start with food. You and Shane did a little bit of, I think it was maybe 5-6 months ago, you guys shared with us that some of the cans in your pantry had exploded. Maybe it was 3 or 4 months ago. Maybe it was sooner ago than that. So
I had some peaches pop.
Yeah, the peaches popped, right?
Peaches popped. I thought I was rotating well, right? What do we do? First in, first out, rotate. I missed a couple cans. They slid to the back and ended up behind some other food that wasn't getting eaten. And they popped and oozed and turned black and disgusting. And so that was a big mess to clean up. But here's the thing, like Utah Mike says this, and I love this. Don't replace it, right, until it's used. So I, similar to you, ran out of lasagna pasta the other day. I was like going through, I was like, oh, let's make lasagna tonight. Had everything to make lasagna. I went to go get it. And I'm like, are we out of lasagna noodles? I'm like, how are we out of lasagna noodles?
Right.
And we have crap tons of other noodles that just aren't getting eaten as much, right? Because the kids changed tastes after we bought a 3-month supply of something.
Exactly.
And so you're like, and that's the challenge of being a parent, right? Some of you guys who your kids are grown up, you're in a lot easier space than we are right now. We're navigating the ever moving hurdles. But yeah, like I'm like, oh crap, what can we use? And so I ended up pulling some bow tie pasta I'm like, oh, we got a lot of this. We need to start getting through this quicker. So instead of making lasagna, guess what I made? I made lasagna soup. Have you ever had lasagna soup?
No, but it sounds yummy.
It's delicious. And guess what else I got to use? I got to use 2 big giant bottles of chicken stock. And I've been eating lasagna soup for almost a week now. It's delicious. And it put some in the freezer. It's packed away. Like, we'll eat that later. But I've been eating a bunch of it and I can't get enough of it. But use what you have. Get creative with what you have, right? Always, 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 as you've heard from both of us, we've made the mistakes. Always rotate, right? Always keep an eye on what you have. And if someone stops eating certain things, you should be in your pantry enough to check on things for quite frequently. Like my primary pantry, I'm in daily, multiple times a day. My secondary pantry, which is my longer term storage stuff, I need to get more consistent at checking that weekly, right? And this is another thing I was going to get into, but Field Tech kind of beat me to the punch. I want to post this one, right? Flour, salt, eggs, or egg yolks, water, make your own pasta. Absolutely. We were making pasta last year, and just due to schedule, I haven't gotten back into it like I should be. Just like making bread, right? You can make your own everything, and it's always going to be cleaner and healthier than what you're going to find at the store, because you're not throwing in additives. You're not throwing in fillers. You're not throwing in weird preservatives. That's what we really need to get back to. And what's funny is the more basic ingredients you have and the more you know how to use those, the less food fatigue you're going to get, because you'll be able to be creative with whatever you're making.
And that's why it's important to store spices too. Like I have a bunch, you have, a couple 100 pounds of rice. That can get boring quick. So, let's say you have some rice and you throw in a little lemon pepper. Okay, that's cool. And you have a little bit of rice, you throw in a little bit of, tomato pip, whatever flavoring. Okay, now you basically have rice, but it's 2 different meals. Another thing too is that kind of I'm going to piggyback on what you said about not having lasagna noodles, but you had bow tie noodles, so you just pivoted. I think there's a key element in that in the word redundancies. Mm-hmm. And I didn't as another example of something I ran out of. I swear we had a bunch of chicken broth. Like we had cans of it. And my wife was like, hey, we're going to make, whatever, rice pilaf. And so she makes this rice pilaf with chicken broth. And so I went down and there was no chicken broth. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like why? What's happening? What's wrong with anyways, but the cool thing is that I had a bunch of chicken bouillon, which is powder. And so my wife just took the powder, put it in water and made her own chicken broth, or similar enough that it tasted delicious. And literally none of the kids knew that it was it was bouillon instead of broth. And so there's some things there like you could do to, have some redundancies where if you don't have enough broth, then maybe the bouillon will kick in, and et cetera, et cetera. That was just something I thought of right now. As you said, you went from lasagna noodles to bow tie noodles, and you still had a lasagna soup. You still had lasagna, but you just did it a little differently with what you had. And that's the creativity we're talking about here. Like you can have a ton of ingredients, but if you don't have the creativity to know how to make things, and that's one of the other, I don't know. I mean, we talked about it earlier. Shane Scott and I talked about talking about recipes and knowing how to actually cook this food. So we may get into that towards, in the last half of this, but that's something that's really important to know how to cook it, to know how to prepare it, and to know how to have some, creativity with your recipes so that you don't get food fatigue, like Scott was saying.
Well, it's like with the pasta soup, it's like 4 ingredients. You can make pasta, right? 4 ingredients, you can make biscuits. 3 ingredients, you can make tortillas, right? It doesn't require a lot, and you can turn wheat into flour into a lot of different things. And you can really get creative then with your spices and with everything else you have to really make things pop, right? One of the things I grew up on at our house, because we always have wheat berries, My dad would do cracked wheat. Have you ever had cracked wheat?
Yeah, cream of wheat. Sorry, that's not the same thing, is it?
Similar. So cracked wheat, you simmer wheat in a pot of water all night long. Mm-hmm. And then the next morning you add honey to it. Strain a little bit of the water, add honey to it, and then pour in some cream. That it's very similar to cream of wheat, but that stuff was pretty much my mainstay during wrestling season every winter because my dad would throw that on at night, let it cook all night. It'd be ready by morning. Right. But it was 3 ingredients and it's packed full of nutrients because wheat's amazing. And then honey, also amazing. What's the shelf life of honey?
Forever.
It's like 50 years. What's the shelf life of wheat? Like 50 plus years. Like if it's stored right, I think that's the thing a lot of people forget is like, depending on where you live, storage could be easy or it could be hard. Like I've got friends down in San Antonio, Texas, and they're like, we have nowhere we can put long-term storage because it's just too hot. And I'm like, well, can you dig? Can you put a cold cellar in somewhere? And they're like, oh, we never thought of that. Right. Oh, thank you, Field Tech. Honey is indefinite, right? That'll go forever. But it's like, you've got to get a little more creative than just accept what your situation is.
And I think wheat goes forever too.
What's that?
I think wheat can go for thousands of years too, if it's stored correctly. I think I don't know if this is true or not, but somebody found one of the old silos from Egypt, and the wheat.
There's an article.
Yep, the wheat from back when Joseph in Egypt stored all that wheat. There was still some found, and it was good. That's like what 3,000 years, 2,000 something years,
3,500 years.
Yeah.
Like what? So yeah. So if it's in optimal conditions, right? You've got to get the oxygen down as low as you can. You got to get humidity out of there. Like you've got to keep it primed and perfect. Like honey, that just stores well. Like it's amazing. It's God's superfood that he's given us. But like a lot of the honey that you buy at the store anymore isn't real honey anymore.
Yeah.
You've got to go to a local honey farmer and you've got to get it. So, this is awesome. Field Tech dropping some more knowledge. So archaeologists recently discovered stored honey from the Romans, completely edible still. And that's the cool thing about
imagine being the guy that's supposed to taste test that, like, hey, you open up some tomb and like this vat of honey is there in front of you. You're like, whose idea is it to eat it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's try some of this. Did they have a biscuit too with it, or did they just stick their finger in and lick it? You know what I mean? Like, that's just.
So I've told the story before. My grandfather, who I'm not a fan of, this grandfather, my other one, awesome. This one, nutcase. He had me taste test some like 8-year-old, like at the time, meat that was canned.
Oh, dang.
And I didn't know he was taste testing it, or he was checking to see if it was safe or not. But he had me eat a whole bowl of it. And then a couple hours later, he's like, I'll have the rest of that now. I'm like, why didn't you eat with me? Oh, I was making you test it. I was like 14. Yeah. My parents, on the other hand, they'd have been like, let's do the sniff test. Let's do the taste test. They'd have done it themselves. For me, with my kids, I would do it myself. My grandpa, are you kidding me? But yeah, but that's where I learned that food storage lasts a lot longer than they say it does. And so like, I've got like certain things just don't last as long. Like your tomato stuff, like just anything with a lot of oils in it or fats in it, they just don't last as long. Why? Because those oils will break down. But I've got plenty of food that's like 5 years old, canned foods that I'm eating on the weekly because I buy a lot of it. We go through a lot of it and we wanted a longer storage of it. For example, corn, beans, right? Just the basic stuff. I don't store anything over a year on average for my canned foods unless it's a single ingredient type of thing. There might be salt in there too, but like I just try to keep it as simple as possible. Crack open a can of the beans, crack open a can of the peas, crack open a can of the corn, mix it into a pot. Now I got a side dish, right? Add some butter, add some seasonings, boom, got a side dish. But I store those longer, up to 5 years, because I know they're going to last, and I know so far they've all been fine, right? I've been absolutely fine all the time. Survival Frog, they've got 25-year meats. Sweet. I'm game, right? But then there's also things like you've got your freeze dried, you've got your dehydrated, and there's a lot of benefits from those. We did an interview with with Marcelo, man, this is like a couple of years ago now, on the different types of like quality of freeze drying, of dehydrating, and what happens when you mix those two. Don't mix those two and store them, by the way. But you can go back and watch that episode. We'll put the notes what episode that was. But food storage, when properly packaged, lasts a lot longer than you think it's going to. But it's got to be properly packaged, and it's got to be kept in less than 70-degree temperature storage. You can't go put this in sunlight. You can't go put this in your hot garage. Like, your long-term storage has got to be in a cool, dry place.
Yeah, I have a pantry upstairs that's connected to my kitchen, and that's kind of my go-to for all my everyday stuff. And then when that runs out upstairs, I have a downstairs pantry that's got a cement floor. It's really cool down there. It's in my basement, and that's where I store my 90-day pantry. And then I have another room with a cement floor, and that's where I store my 25-year shelf life according to the alleged whatever. And that's where I store my number 10 cans that I bought from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Bishop's Storehouse. That's you don't have to be a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to access those resources. From what I've heard, if you're not going to pack it yourself, if you're not going to make the tin cans and the air, I mean, it's good to do it yourself because you'll learn the process and you'll learn what you're doing, and you can kind of customize it. But if you're not going to do that and you just want to buy the least expensive, best quality, long-term number 10 cans in bulk, the LDS Church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, just do a search, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Bishop Storehouse, and go in there, and they sell carrots and onions and apple rings and all kinds of beans, pinto beans, navy beans, white beans. They sell cracked wheat. They sell flour. They sell the berries. They sell hot cocoa. They sell what's it called? The milk. They sell powdered milk, and they sell what else? I think they still sell the like the Tang or whatever that is, the orange.
The orange drink. So they have, and what's interesting too is they also have, like, you can actually get, whether it's at the church or other places as well, but you can get, like, they have sauce packets, dried flavor additives, like just all kinds of stuff that you can get. You can also go to restaurant supply companies and get a lot of this too. Like, do you know how long dried cheese lasts?
No.
It's typically freeze dried cheese, and they use it for making soups, sauces, and stuff like that, restaurant quality. That stuff's a good 20 years as well.
Wow.
I've got cans and cans and cans of that from restaurant supply companies out in Missouri. Like, we bought a whole pallet full of stuff at one time, and we actually crack into that. Like, they've got dried tomato paste. We were cracking into that last week. I was making tomato soup with it. It's delicious. Nice. You just add all the stuff you want to it, but it's the base, right? But dried foods, freeze-dried and dehydrated, like, they last a long, long time. And it's nice to have because you can improvise those into meals all the time. Like, here's a list of things that I try to have on hand all the time. Powdered eggs, and reconstitute those, freeze-dried eggs, right? Reconstitute those with lukewarm water, so slightly above room temperature. Let it sit. Don't stir it. Don't do anything to it. Just let it sit. Those will last like 25 plus years. Protein powder. Whey isolate. A lot of people are like overcomplicating it. Get some really good whey isolate, put it in some Mylar bags, throw in some oxygen absorbers. That stuff's good for about 10 years. Powdered, pretty much any type of seasoning, tons and tons of it. Go to the Asian markets, go to the Hispanic markets. You're going to get a way better price, and you're going to get them in these bags that are already sealed, and you can just throw those bags into another Mylar bag, throw an oxygen absorber in there, and you're even better. Let's see. I did the protein. What's on my list? Oh, peanut butter. Peanut butter, dried powdered peanut butter. You can reconstitute it, make it into a sandwich, right? But the thing is you can use it for cooking. You can make it into sauces. Really, really beneficial.
Is that like PB2? Is that what you know what I'm talking about?
Before PB2. PB2 is the healthy, fit Jim Bro version of it. But you can get just peanut butter. They take the fat out of it, they take the oils out of it, and it's just
powdered
dehydrated peanut butter, right?
Okay,
It's
cool.
dehydrated peanuts.
Because I got a bunch of the PB2.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't last as long because they have additives in it.
Oh,
so that won't last as long because they actually put fats back into that, oils back into that, and so that's why they don't last as long. Other things, so powdered soup mixes, fantastic to have because you can mix those into anything. We did the powdered cheese, peanut butter, fruit. I didn't think of this, but we freeze dry fruit from time to time. Blend it after you freeze dry it, because most of the time, what are you going to put that stuff into? Additives for things, right? Because when you reconstitute the fruit to hydrate it, sometimes the middle doesn't constitute as quickly, right? And so it's crunchy and weird. But if you blend it up, you then can fit a number 10 can worth of freeze-dried fruits or vegetables into a tiny little ball jar. And it's going to last just as long. It's going to be just as good, but like you can just mix it into whatever you're making. You want to make some ice cream? Cool. Pull that out and mix it in ice cream. You want to make some jams and jellies? You want to add water to it and make fruit leather? Boom. Like super easy to use.
I think Utah Mike has a good point here. Tomato powder. I would even say in any fruit, basically hydrate. He says tomato powder is super simple to make at home. Dehydrate the tomato, then put it through the blender. Brilliant. Yeah. And that could be done. I'm sure that could be done with any vegetable or any fruit.
It's funny because I remember growing up as a kid, we had the dehydrator going all summer long. Well, not all summer, all fall, right? When the harvest came in, you're just running everything through the dehydrator all the time. We didn't have freeze dryers back then. And so we always had 2 to 3 dehydrators hanging up either on the back deck area or right inside the house, depending on the weather. But it was just like, I just thought that was normal. And now nobody does it, right? Nobody except the crazy preppers. It cracks me up. But yeah, fruits and vegetables. But then also powdered butter. Powdered butter.
Yeah.
I've got tons of powdered butter and tons of powdered milk. Powdered milk, if it's low fat, like they've skimmed it, that it'll last 10 to 15 years. If it's still like some fat in it, it's like 2 years. But it's not going to taste like regular milk, right?
Now,
because the fat's
now
gone,
just for ease of, just to kind of telling people where they can go, I know for sure at least in Utah, you can get powdered butter from Augustin Farms at the Walmart, the local neighborhood Walmart. They have a bunch of the Augustin Farms food storage. I don't know if other states have that in their Walmarts, but you could check your Walmart. Amazon. Oh yeah, for sure on Amazon.
Amazon has it. There's also Honeyville Farms or whatever has it, and they're up north in Utah, but they're huge. They're also on Amazon.
There's a really good company in Utah that I'm going to go check them out because I keep getting I just kind of got their information here, and they're Sage and Plow, and they ship.
There you go.
And it's let me just see if I can get the right website here. We don't have an affiliate link with them, and if we ever do get one, I'll let you know. But I think it's Sage, SAGE and AND Plow, PLOW.com. Sage and Plow, and they have a ton of stuff. They're really growing. It's like right off their farm, I think. And they have all kinds of stuff that they're doing, and they're trying to build a business, and I think they ship. So awesome. Check it out, Sage and the word and plow.com. And it says here that we deliver, or they ship anyways.
Ship. I would laugh. Some poor delivery guy leaving from Utah to get all the way out to Florida, driving his little Mazda Miata. But yeah, like there's so many things you can do with your food storage. The biggest thing is make sure you have something. Make sure you've got food on site. I started back in the day. I've been prepping my whole life. I didn't know that's what it was. I'm second generation off the farm. Like everybody in my family, all the way back to beyond Noah, all the way back to Adam, was growing food. That's just what we did. We farmed. We did potatoes. We did oats. We did barley. Like all these different things, and we always had our own gardens. Like that was normal. So I was like the first city slicker of my family. Like my parents, we moved from small town Idaho to Denver, Colorado. Talk about shell shock. First time I saw a skyscraper, I was 7 years old, and I was in panic mode because I thought those buildings were leaning because of perspective, how tall they were. I was freaking out. I was with 4-H, and they're like, "We're gonna go downtown." I'm like, "Oh, I've never been downtown." I was freaking out, right? But like, I thought everybody was like me. I thought everybody had a year's supply of food in their home. Like, I thought everybody had extra shampoos and conditioners and had extra soaps and extra socks and extra underwear and go bags, right? 72-hour kits. We upcycled those to 96, but like, I didn't know anybody was different than that. Well, in 2012, I found out that 1 in 7 people in America had less than a 3-day supply of food. Or, sorry, 6 out of 7 people had less than a 3-day supply of food in their home. In America, the most affluent country in the world, the highest quality of people in the world, right? We were taught America is the greatest. Da, 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 da. Where's the food? People have lost sense of reality and stopped keeping stuff on site. And now it's even worse. Every other commercial's for DoorDash or Uber Eats, or like, what are we going to order in tonight? Right.
That's most people don't have a day's worth of food storage.
What's funny is the Gen Alpha kids now, right? These Gen Alpha kids that are growing up, they're like, I don't want to waste the money going out to eat or ordering out. I'm going to learn to cook. It's coming full circle. I was at my school the last generation that had home ec. The kids after my grade, home ec was gone. And to me, that's baffling. That's one of the most important skills that those kids need, is how to mend socks, how to mend rags, how to put together, sew clothing, how to actually cook food. I have those skills, as poor as they may be. I have them because people prioritized it back then, and we're now coming full circle. People want homemade crafts. People want authentic things. We see value in that again.
And what's funny is they think it's like this whole new age thing, like, or this new deal, like, oh my gosh, we can make things from scratch and we can build our own. We don't have to go. It's like this new movement in the Gen Z or whatever. They're like, oh my gosh, this is the Gen. There's even a Gen A, I heard, because they're going back around the alphabet. But anyways, the point is that they're like, oh my gosh, we can do natural things and we can make our own food. Check this out. I have all these ingredients and I'm putting them together and I'm making this food. I don't need to buy Uber or go to fast food. I'm like, bro, like, that's what we did when we were like, you're not making anything new. It's just funny how things just kind of make their rounds. They come back into vogue.
And they tell you that you don't know it because they've invented it or they've discovered it. And you're like, oh, you don't understand. It's like, kid, no, we do. It's the kids between us that don't. But yeah, it's funny because in the comments, where was it? Field Tech. He's like, Scott, you and I are not preppers. We simply live as our parents and grandparents and great grandparents and the rest of our ancestors lived. Yeah, I'm failing at that though. Field Tech. Like, I don't have a garden this year. I haven't had a garden for the last 3.5 years. I had this huge greenhouse that I retired because I thought we were going to move right away. And then I got a back injury, and it's just, long story short, I suck. I don't have all that stuff now. I need to rebuild. I need to get back to gardening. I need to get back to my roots. Right. But I'll tell you this, because of the way I was brought up, you know who the best cook in our household is? This guy. Because it was life. That was how we lived. We need to all get to the skill level that we can just pick up and cook a meal and walk into the pantry and go, oh, you know what? This sounds really good. And I've got everything I need right here.
Oh. Speaking of that, it's kind of funny. My wife and I are, I watch a lot of, meal reels on Instagram because I'm trying to get more protein and, kind of get lean and get, shredded, ripped, whatever Jim Bro, conversation we're having. Anyways, the point is, I get these recipes of these people that make these really delicious looking foods. And I've tried a few of them. We've tried the recipes, and some of them are absolutely gross. And I'm like, how did you promote this? And some of them are delicious. And the other day I told my wife, I was like, hey, I'm going to make that one recipe that we liked. And she's like, okay, well, I guess I'll have to, I'll try to have a snack before. I said, no, I'll make it quick. And in 20 minutes, it was completely done. Like, I don't think I could have waited for Uber any shorter, to have it delivered. And I made this delicious meal, and it had all of our own ingredients. Well, sour cream or whatever, it comes from the store, but it had supposedly natural cheese, and we had beef, and we had we had sweet potatoes. Like, it was really yummy. And it just was fast. I said, hey, babe, dinner's ready. She's like, what, already? So sometimes we have this idea that if we home cook something, it's going to take forever. And, yeah, that's if you use a crock pot or something like that, which is another really brilliant way to make food. But I think it's important to remember that sometimes what we perceive is not what's real. And we can perceive that, oh, it's going to take forever to cook, I'm just going to order out. I promise you, it's going to be healthy for you. In the long run, it's actually going to be quicker, because you're not going to have to spend more money and other things on health related issues. And I mean, I personally have enmity towards certain fast food places. One of them being something called the Golden Arches. That to me is just not food. It's manufactured plastics and turned into, I don't know what it is. It's like biohacking. It's like transhumanism, transanimalism into food. I don't know what it is, but it's not real. And so, like, if you're gonna eat fast food, you're gonna pay for it later. I promise. Whether it's diabetes or heart disease or some other situation, it's so much better and faster to just eat good, healthy food.
Yep.
As much as you can, anyways. And not saying you can't have a fun time where you splurge every,
I made a mistake yesterday. We haven't had, like, because we're just cutting the stuff out. I took my daughter to dance. So part of the reason we moved from Wednesdays to Thursdays is because of family schedule conflicts, right? My daughter's got dance every Wednesday night. My wife's super pregnant. We're about to have the baby. We're 3 weeks. We're 3 weeks out, and little new me is going to be here. And so, like, we had to adjust some schedules. I've got to take daughter to dance, but like afterwards, she's so hungry. She's like, I'm so hungry. I'm starving. And I'm like, you didn't eat your dinner before we left. She's like, no. And I'm like, it's going to be another almost hour till we're home. So I was like, we'll just go. We went to the Taco Bell, and I'm like, afterwards, regretted it. Like, so hard. Still today, regretting it. But it's like, you can make cleaner, healthier, faster food, tastier food with no garbage, no fillers, right? And you're going to save, I think it was like $21 for 2 people to eat.
Yeah, that's amazing.
On Sunday, I made, have you ever had, I posted this on Instagram. I made crunch wraps, homemade crunch wrap, like a whole pan of it all at once. It was so stinking easy. It took less than 35 minutes to make the whole thing. And it was awesome. And I looked at the total cost to make it. I'm still eating leftovers from Sunday. The total cost to make all of that, which has fed my family 4 nights, was less than $14. Guys, we're doing it wrong. Stay away from the places. Stay away from the drive-thrus. Stay away from the expensive foods. Put the money towards food storage. Learn how to cook. Rotate your food. The first rule of food storage: store what you eat and eat what you store. The second rule of food storage: FIFO, first in, first out. What that means is when you go to grab a can of peaches, look to see if there's an older can behind them that you were dumb enough to move to the wrong place, and don't let them go bad, right? Take caution when you're shopping to buy the higher quality foods. Take the time to look at the ingredient lists. If there's saturated fats added to something, if there's oils added to something, guess what? They're not good for you. And Utah Mike, how healthy was the crunch wrap? It was absolutely phenomenal. It was 100% homemade. So no bioengineered nothing in that. It was, and yeah, it was. I actually used refried beans, powdered refried beans for my food storage, so that was a win-win too. So
that's awesome.
Dive in. Like I'm making more and more of my food from my older food storage. Right, I'm trying to rotate everything, but you have to follow the store what you eat what you store, and first in first out rule, and that will keep you in a safer space longer. Um, I appreciate every one of you guys in the comments. Like, this has been awesome to watch. It's been hard to stay focused sometimes because some of the comments have been a little left field, but I'm like, I love it. This is the beauty. This is the joy of why we do this, because we'll get things dropped in the comments that will inspire us for future shows. You guys are as big a part of the show, those of you listening, those of you participating, as us being weird mouthpieces over here just talking about preparedness. We love it. We love you guys. We appreciate all the banter back and forth, the corrections. You guys correct us all the time. For those of you guys who are never on the lives, we get corrected. It like we get checked. Is this really correct, Scott? Actually, this is the real truth. Like, you have no idea. And we love it because the more we're all correct together, the better we're all going to do when things go sideways. Paris, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I think another thing to remember too is that, don't get caught up in the hype with some of these companies that are trying to sell you their food storage supplies. If you have a 90-day pantry and you have long-term food storage, the bulk dry goods, rice, beans, flour, wheat, berries, whatever, and then after that, then you want to supplement your, maybe you want to get the, chicken Parmesan Mountain House, whatever, or the chicken Parmesan Ready Man, whatever. That's fine. Do it after you've got a solid foundation of a 90-day pantry of foods you're already eating every day. And then check it with your taste buds. Cause from one month to the next, you might go from, oh, I got 90-day supply of Cheerios, but shoot, I need to have a 90-day supply of, Fruit Loops. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, you need to just make sure you're checking that. But once you have that set, once that 90-day pantry is kind of good and you got it going, then you can supplement with a longer term storage. So I bought some of the some of that. I bought those 90-day or 30-day, I think it was 90-day kits, and they come in the totes. I bought 2 or 3 of those, and those are just going to supplement my number 10 cans. I got 10 or 15 number 10 cans of stuff. I have some like 6 or 7 boxes of 6 cans each of some things. So it's just supplement with those things. Don't make that your bulk, because those are more expensive. That's one of the reasons why I say that. And a lot of people were like, as a financial guy, one of the things I'm talking about is, people are worried about their budget right now with inflation. By the way, if you want to, I think I bought powdered, I think I bought powdered potatoes for like 90 cents when I first moved to Utah. I think the last time I bought them, they're like $1.50 per pack. So that's like almost double in 3 or 4 years. So if you want to save money, buy food storage today, and then you eat it over the next couple of years, and it'll save you money from food prices going up in next year, because you'll be eating food with last year's prices this year. And that's something that I think that is important to remember too, is that it makes financial sense as well as, prepper sense to keep food in storage. And if you grow a garden, learn to can, and can what you own, what you grow. And if there's excess, like my neighbor has a peach tree and he gives peaches away every year. I'm like, bro, let's learn to can these things and save it. And then we can give cans to everybody in the neighborhood. That way we have way more use out of it, and et cetera, et cetera. So those are just some of my final thoughts. Get creative, stay creative, make sure you're storing what you eat, and you're eating. I love what you said, store what you eat and eat what you store. And then, and you'll be set. That's the from there, it's just, that's all the cake. From there, it's just icing.
Amen to that. Well, guys, we missed Shane tonight. Traffic was a lot worse for him than he anticipated, so he didn't make it on the show. We miss him. We'll catch him next week on our show. Remember, we are every Thursday night for the next few months, 6 p.m. Mountain Time for Prepper Talk Radio. Thank you, everyone, for the amazing comments, the conversations, and as always, if you want more info, join our group, Emergency Prep and Self-Reliance, over on Facebook. You can find it on our website, preppertalkradio.com. And until next time, keep the head on a swivel, stay ready-minded, keep that pantry and belly full. We'll catch you later.
Take care, guys.